Welcome to our YouTube channel once again. Please do well to subscribe to our channel. Today we want to talk about volumetric analysis. In this practical, I'm going to help chemistry students to understand various ways that they can carry out acid-base titration effectively. So please just follow through as we carry out this practical. Take note, as chemistry students, the first thing you need to do when you're carrying out acid-base titration is to tabulate the burette reading. It is very, very important. An example of what I'm saying is what you are seeing here on the board. We have the burette readings, which is in cubic centimeter. Then we have first title values, second title values, and the third title values. Then beneath the burette reading, we have the final reading, initial reading, and the volume of acid used. Please always take note of this. Now this is the setup. We want to carry out acid-base titration practical. Please always take note that you are going to make use of two reagents in carrying out this practical. So the two reagents that we have here, we have dilute acid and dilute base. That is what we are seeing here. Now we want to take note that the first thing we need to do is to use the pipettes to sip the base. That is the first thing you need to take. Similarly, it is very important that as a chemistry student, you need to take note of the size of the pipette that you'll be using. Like for example, for this pipette that I'm using is 25 cubic centimeter. So having known that, it's very important that you record the size of your pipette. We are going to do that, but just have that in mind. Always record the size of the pipette that you will be using. So always write it. I want to use this volume of pipettes used. In some case, you can use size of pipette used, still the same thing. The one I'm using is 25.00 cubic centimeter. One of the videos I did, I explained this. Ordinarily, the size of that pipette is just 25 cubic centimeter. But like what I said from one of the videos I did, always write it in 2 decimal places. Don't just write 25 cubic centimeter, it must be 25.00 cubic centimeter. To carry out this practical, the titration 3 times. That is why we have first burette reading, second burette reading, and third burette reading. So please just follow through as we carry out this practical. Now the indicator that we are using here is messy orange. Now let's start by, so we need to fill the burette with the acid solution. Take note, when you are filling the burette with the acid solution, the first thing you need to do is to put the funnel in the burette. And when you are putting the acid solution into the burette, allow it to get to 0.00. That will be the initial. And then another thing we need to take note of is each of these apparatus that we are making use of, before you start using them, make sure you rinse them. I think obviously one of the videos we did, we explained the precautions. Like for this is the conical flask. Don't rinse the conical flask with either the base solution or the acid solution. You can only rinse the conical flask with distilled water. Then for the pipettes, don't rinse the pipette with the base solution because we'll be using the pipette to sip the base. So when you use base to rinse the pipette, it's going to affect the titration. While for the burette, you don't rinse the burette with the acid solution. Why? Because the acid solution will be going into the burette. So instead, you rinse with water. Please, let's take note of that. Now let's get started. We are going to first of all pour the acid solution. This is the acid solution into the burette. Take note, put the funnel. Now we have filled the burette with the acid solution. Please take note as well. Once you are through filling the burette with the acid solution, the next thing you do is to remove the funnel. For some persons, sometimes they will just forget the funnel there, so you remove it. Now we want to sip the base. When you are sipping the base, if you check the pipette, it has a meniscus level. If you take note, you can see something like a mark here. Are we seeing it? Yes, that is going to be the meniscus level for the base. Now let's see how we are going to sip the base. Now this is the meniscus level. Sometimes it's not very easy to sip the base like that to get to this point. Sometimes you need to allow it to pass through the meniscus level. You can go beyond it. Then you know how to adjust it to that point. For some chemistry students, sometimes they even touch their tongue. So in cases like that, when it happens, immediately you need to use water, distilled water, to rinse your mouth. So this is it. Now we are going to put the base in the conical flask. Now, once you are through putting the base in the conical flask, please take note, the last drop at the tip of the pipette, don't put it, like don't shake it, like some places will do it like this, they want to put it inside, no. Or some will even want to use their mouth to blow it out. So the chemistry student, when you are carrying out acid-base titration, you don't do all of that. Please take note of that. Okay, now having done that, we are going to apply the indicator. We are making use of messy orange. Please take note, when you are applying the indicator, any indicator you are applying, for this we are making use of messy orange. Always make use of 2 or maximum 3 drops. But for this, for the sake of this part, you can make use of just 2 drops. But maximum, you can make use of 3. So let's see how we are going to apply the indicator. I'll make use of 2 drops, take note. As the first drop, second drop. Then you place it under the burette. Now we want to start releasing the acid solution in the burette. When you are releasing the acid solution, don't release it once. It's little by little, bit by bit. Please take note. And let's see. And when you are releasing it, make sure you are stirring the contents in the conical flask. That you need to be vigilant so that as soon as the end point takes place, we stop releasing the acid solution from the burette. You're about to get a color change. If you are following, here comes the color change. So these are endpoints. This is the end point for the color change. Now, having done that, it is very important for us to read the burette reading. I want to read it now. Now, this is 10.70 cubic centimeter. That is for our first burette reading, the first final reading. 10.70 cubic centimeter. Like what I used to say, always make sure that when you are writing the title value, it should be in 2 decimal places, should be consistent. Please take note of that. So please take note when you are reading the burette reading, when you are taking the burette reading, you don't bend low. Like for example, I didn't do like this, or I didn't stretch. You must stand, allow your eye to be at the same level with the burette reading. Then also when you are reading it, don't you read the U shape. Like what I'm trying to say is, let me further explain. Now what I was trying to explain is when you are taking the burette reading, you don't read it from this point. Let's assume this is the acid solution in the burette. We are assuming this is our burette. You read from this point. This is where we are looking at. Take note, that's what we call the meniscus level. You don't read from here. Take your reading from this U shape. That's what we are considering. Then please always take note when you want to fill the table. You know, we started initially our initial reading for the first title values. We started from 0.00. Our final reading was 10.70. Please always allow your title values to be in 2 decimal places. Very, very important. Then another thing that I forgot to impute is this. Please, after you have recorded the volume of the pipette used, it is also very important that you indicate the type of indicator you are using, the indicator that you are given. Like for this titration, for this practical rather, we are making use of methyl orange. Please take note of that. We are making use of methyl orange. So always indicate the indicator that you are given. Now we are proceeding to the next title values. Now let's go back to the setup. Okay, now for the second title value, or simply put, for the second titration, what am I going to use for my second initial reading? Now for that second initial reading, what I do say most times is it depends on the individual. Like for example, what I mean is I might decide to use this 10.70 that was my final reading for the first initial reading to be my second initial reading for the second title values. Now what I'm trying to say is this. Please let's now for the second burette reading. Under the second burette reading for the under the second title values for the initial reading, how are you going to know what will be your second initial reading? And what I was trying to explain is, it all depends on the individual. You might decide to make use of this final initial reading for the first title values as your second initial reading. Or better still, you can just use this value where you stopped previously, where we stopped previously as your second initial reading. So you might decide to put in this space, you might decide to put 10.70. Or the other way around, you might decide to refill the burettes with the acid solution, going back again to 0.00 again. And you start all over, you have the same 0.00 here. It all depends on you. But if you wish to make use of this as your second initial reading, it's still very okay. Please, let's take note of that. But for the sake of this practical, I want to make use of this as my second initial reading. So my second initial reading will be 10.70. So for us to start the second titration, so to speak, please don't forget, you have to throw this previous solution away. Take note of that. So then always rinse with distilled water. It's very, very important. We want to sip the base again. As for the second time, take note. Arrive at the meniscus level. So you release it into the conical flask. It's just the same procedure the way we did it previously. And we are equally going to apply 2 drops of the indicator, which is methyl orange. Take note, when you are releasing the acid solution from a burette, you need to be very careful. Take that little by little. And don't forget, so you are releasing it drop by drop. Make sure you are stirring the content in the conical flask. When the change is about to come up, you will know. That is why we say you need to be very vigilant. I think the color change is here. Yes, is the color change. Okay, now let me raise this up a little so that we can take the burette reading. So the burette reading here is 22.50. Always make sure your title values are in 2 decimal places. 22.50. The third initial reading, we are going to refill the burette with acid solution, going back to 0.00 for the third initial reading. So that's what we are going to do for this. So our third initial reading will be 0.00. Through filling the burette to the point 0.00, then please take note, for that third initial reading, you can make use of the last title value, which was 22.50 rather. But for the sake of this practical, I choose to make use of 0.00. So please take note of that. Now let's sip the base. Let's sip the base. We are going to apply 2 drops of the indicator. Now let's see the color change that will take place in these third theta values. Here comes the color change. Here comes the color check. So our rate reading is 10.20. 10.20. Okay, for this is 10.50. Sorry, I made a mistake. This is 10.50, not 10.20. Final reading is 10.50. Now when we get to this point, please take notes. You are going to subtract. You subtract this from this, subtract this from this, this from this. So let's start with the first title values. 10.70 minus 0.00 give us 10.70. Then for this, 22.50 minus 10.70 give us 11.80. Why this way give us 10.50. So these are the volume of acid used. Please always take notes. One of the videos that we have on this channel, the precaution video on acid-base titration, I said when we are calculating for average volume of acid used, we need just, out of these 3 volume of acid used, we need just 2 numbers. Now, how do you know the 2 numbers that you are going to pick at? What you just simply do is you minus 1 volume of acid used from the other. And if your answer is within 0.20, say that in that video, 0.2, if it's within this range, then you make use of that number. So let's quickly check this and see the range that we're going to have. First of all, we are going to subtract this from this. Let's see the answer that we're going to have. 11.80 minus 10.70. This is 1.10. 1.10. Obviously, this is bigger than this. So you are not making use of this and this. Similarly, let's subtract this from this. Let's see the answer we are going to have. 11.80 minus 10.50 gives us 1.30. Still, this is also bigger than this. Okay, now let's subtract this from this. Let's see the answer. 10.70 minus 10.50. Yes, the answer we got to that is 0.20. So it's accurate with this. So which means when you want to calculate the average volume of acid use, so just quickly calculate for that. Average volume of acid used is equal to, bring out this and this, 10.70 plus 10.50 divided by 2, because there are 2 values, 1, 2, so divided by 2. Let's quickly see 10.70 plus 10.50 give us 21.20. We'll divide it by 2. Obviously, it will give us, divided by 2, it will give us 10.60. Take note, we are calculating for the average volume. And the unit that we are applying here is cubic centimeter. So these are just the simple steps that we need to follow when we are carrying out volumetric analysis. When you follow these procedures, obviously you will not have any issue, and hopefully you come out in flying colors. Thank you very much for your time. Please, on your own, may you take time to watch this video. Please subscribe to our channel. Though what we did here is just the preamble. Yes, let me put it like that. This is the preamble to volumetric analysis. We have other part, which is the calculation part. So please, when you subscribe to our channel, you are going to see how we are going to put you step by step in carrying out the various calculations relating to acid